Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you by Togens Fly Shop, Maui Jim Sunglasses, and Hardy Rods and Reels.
Good day everyone, and welcome to another segment of On the Bench. Today I'm going to tie up another one of my jig series. This is the Enticer Leech. This is a fiery brown, a very good coloration I wanted to share with you. We'll go over the materials we need to tie the fly. I'm going to be using a Togens 60-degree jig hook. It's a size 10. It's a good little hook for that. They're barbless. In front of that, I'm going to be putting on the Red Glory Tungsten slotted beads. It's a very nice addition to that. Thread, I'm going to be using some 6/0 black thread. For the ribbing, I'm going to be using some copper wire. This is small copper. The body I'm going to be using over here, I've got some Magnum Holographic Flashabou. This is in the Cranberry color. The tail, I'm going to be using some burnt orange Marabou, some nice soft blood quills for the tail. And for the body, I'm using a blend. This is one of my blends here for the fiery brown. And a lot of times what I like to do is dub my own materials to get the color and the texture I'm looking for. So what I've done here to blend that, I've taken some of these UV2 Silex. It's another UV fly. Two spectrums of the UV in there for you. It's in the burnt orange, but it's a really little too orangey for me. I want a little more of the fiery brown. It's been a favorite color of mine for years. And so what I've done is I blended that with orange or brown Angora goat. And that by itself looks pretty whole-hum done too, as you can see. But a nice dark brown we accent. And I'll just get some of that Silex out here too so we can show you how you can do that. And I've taken equal parts of the orange and the brown. And I'll just throw that in my little coffee bean grinder. Let's go out here. I'll just do that off the camera. Bring it in. Blend that up. And voila, we have my little fiery brown blend. I might have to go in there again. I would throw that in there one more time, just get a little more even. Put the hook on there, the small side forward, of course, and the slotted bead. Wrap my thread to the back. Level that out. Then I'll bring in a pinch of my Marabou. Take some nice soft Marabou plume there. And get a tail. We want pretty sparse tail on our leeches. And come in there with that. Turn or two. And then what I'll do is just tie my butts forward to behind the bead. I'll just take a couple loose turns and then trim that off. That'll get the body to lay down a little more even. Go around the back again. But you'll see a nice breathable little tail. Then we'll come in, I'll grab the copper wire, bring in about 8 inches or so of that. Tie that in on the side. Then I come to behind the bead, and I just grab 2 strands of my Magnum Flashabou. And one of my favorite colors, is probably mentioned to me before, is that Cranberry. And I'll tie that on behind the bead. Get my half hitch on. I'm using a rotary vise on here, as you can see. Then I'm just going to wrap towards the rear to the tail. And then I'm going to wrap forward. And that gives me a nice flat, even body. Anytime you're doing rib bodies or mylar bodies or anything like that, go front to back, back to the front. Just throw a half hitch in there just to hold everything in order. Then I'll take my wire and reverse wrap it forward. Then I'll tie it off here. Another half hitch. Hold everything in. Now I'm going to use that wire to make my little collar, a dubbing brush. I'm a big fan of dubbing brushes, you know. Take a wee little pinch, not much more than that. And you can do this with a dubbing loop if you don't have a vise like this that'll spin for you. Okay, rotary. Let's use a dubbing loop. Get a fairly snug turn on that. Get a nice brush here. I'm just scruff that down, thin that out good. And then pull the fibers off to one side. I'm coming back off the bead a little bit so I can get 2 turns of that dubbing. Then I'll pull that down tight behind the bead. That wire will actually snug that right up. It won't move. It's very tight. That bead will stay in place. I do that with all my enticers. Get that wire and snug it right down there. Give it a good pull. And it'll go right down to the hook shank. So that'll give us the good collar. And just grab your brush again and sweep it back. Now this one I'm doing, as you can see, very, very slender. Just so when it's wet, it'll cover that body up just so slightly, and they can still see that nice holographic body and ribbing underneath it. When I went to the burnt orange, a lot of your materials, you got to get them wet, they get darker. So actually it'll blend in better when it's wet. So we'd like to thank you again for watching Sport Fishing on the Fly. We'll catch you again real soon. And if you're not a member, please sign up. You get lots of TV episodes, hundreds of fly tying videos, other little seminars, and product draws and everything else on available for members. So you'll be the first one to see any of the new shows too. So thanks again for watching. Thanks to all our sponsors.